Good morning to all. My name is Guru, working as a faculty in a degree college. So in this video, I'm going to present what is Java and what is its advantages over the other programming languages. And also some basic concepts of Java. Okay. So here, what is the syntax of Java? So the topics we have covered in the introduction is present the syntax of Java, introduce the Java API, demonstrate how to build a standalone Java program, and Java applet which run within the browser or the Netscape and example programs. Okay. Now, why Java? So we have so many languages like C, C++. Basically, is a structural programming language, and C++ is object-oriented programming language. Still, we are looking at Java. Why? Because it's currently most running language. It's a very hot language in the market, and it is completely the object-oriented programming language. It contains the number of libraries. Contains a number of libraries where it contains the predefined objects and operations. So what's a library? Library is nothing but is a collection of objects where each and every objects have the various kind of methods, and each method will perform various operations. So there's a main advantage using the using of Java. So because it contains number of libraries which contains the predefined objects, and with the help of the predefined object, we can able to access the predefined methods inside the object, and we can able to perform various operations. The second one, the Java is platform independent. So what is a platform independent? For example, if you write a program based on the Windows operating system or the Unix operating system or any operating system, that can be run anywhere. So the application developed in Java in one platform can be utilized in another platform. That's why we can say it is a platform independent. So the main concept for this is web programming. And use the concept of web programming, we will use the Java, because when you create any program in the web-based programming languages like JavaScript and everything, so it is very easy to develop the application, and whatever the application you have developed, that can be placed on anywhere on any platform. For example, I have developed a web page about accessing the data from the database. So I have developed a JSP web page or servlet web page, and any page, and through the web page, I would like to access the data from the database. So what are the application I have developed? The HTML application, or it is a JSP, Java Server Page application. Those can be placed anywhere in any operating system. So if I develop a JSP in the Windows-based application, you can able to apply the same on the Unix-based also. So because of this one, whatever the programming or application developed on the website, that is web programming, so that will be very useful for the people. Like for example, when you create any websites, most of the websites will be created either the HTML based or the Angulars or the JSPs. Okay. So next one is the most secure. I think most of the people are aware of the concepts of object-oriented programming. There we have the concept of encapsulation, which will provide a lot of security for the objects of the classes. It is not C++. So it's beyond the C++, where in the C++ we can able to write the structural programming as well as the object-oriented programming. Here also we can able to write the structural programming as well object-oriented programming. But most preference for the Java is to develop a different platform application like web programming and everything. And what is applet, servlet, and applications? An applet is designed to be an embedded in a web page and run by the browser. So just like applet is just like a element where we play like a frame where we can place at a web page. So for example, when you see an HTML page, you can able to observe the number of controls on them, like check boxes, list boxes, and everything. Like that is, you can able to place the applets on the web page. So these applets can be run with the help of the browser. The applets will run only with the help of the browser. So basic purpose of applets is to make the application very efficient. So applets run in a sandbox with numerous restrictions. For example, they can't read files, but they use the networks. So means wherever the applets we are using, wherever you are using the servlets, everything have the different purposes. Okay, a servlet is nothing but a program, but which will run on the web servers. So whatever the application you are created, whatever the application you have created under the servlet, that can be executed only on the local server or the web server. Okay, so servlet is also similar to the normal application Java. An application is conventional program. So conventional program means we can able to write in any way. So how do you write a standalone Java program? If you want to write any Java program, how do you write a program? Means first we have to create a file with an extension called Java. So that's why I prepared the file with the name .java using an editor. So here this editor can be anything. We can prepare the notepad and you can able to execute the Java program on the command line. Otherwise, if you want to prepare the same Java program in the IDE, integrated development environment like Eclipse or NetBeans, also we can able to use. If you want to create the same application in the Eclipse, first we have to install the Eclipse version. This is the IDE, which provides the facility to write the Java programs efficiently. Then you have to create a project, which is a Java project. Then you have to create a package under the Java project. Then you have to create the classes under the Java project. So once you have created the class and you write the code inside the class, then what you have to do? What the purpose of writing the classes is nothing but to execute and get the results. So for this, what we have to do? We need to compile the program. So how do you compile? If you want to compile the program in the command prompt, then you have to use the command that is called javac.foo.java. So here javac, the file name .java. So javac means Java compiler. So with the help of the Java compiler, we can able to compile. So what the compilation will do? It will generate the object code. So once it generates the object code has to be executed. So how do you execute? So see here, whenever you compile the Java program, the file with extension foo.java here is converted into the foo.class because it will create a bytecode. So the bytecode will be executed with the help of Java command. So here we are using step by step. When you take into consideration, if you want to execute the program in Java, first we have to open the notepad and write the program and save the file with the name extension Java. Then you have to go to the command prompt where you have installed the Java and then execute the command javac that file name .java. So here javac means compiler. So what will happen? It compiles the program. What is the advantage of Java compiler? It compiles and it generates the bytecode. So the bytecode which is generated with having an extension called class. So this will be executed. this will be run in the Java interpreter. Java interpreter. How do you generate this one? The statement Java and this class name. So you see here, the Java extension file name and the class file name, class name will be both the same. Whenever you create a program, it will have an extension Java. Once it is compiled, it will have extension of .class. Once it is executed, you will get the results. So when you observe here, during the process of execution of Java program, first the compiler takes place and next one interpreting takes place. What compiler will do? It converts the given source code into the bytecode and the interpreter execute the bytecode and generate the output. Okay. So here come to the point, what is Java virtual machine? You can also call it the JVM. So here the class files generated by the compiler are not executable. So if you want to execute these files, so here whenever you compile the program, which we have an extension of .java, we will change it to the extension of .class. Now if you want to execute, you can't directly execute. So that's why we'll use the concept is called the Java virtual machine. So because it contains the bytecodes, so bytecode cannot be executed directly. So who will execute the bytecode? The bytecode will be executed by the Java virtual machine. So we have different types of languages where is the different types of virtual machines. So what are the basic purpose of using the Java virtual machine is nothing but whatever the code generated after compilation of a Java program that cannot be executed directly because it is a bytecode. That's why we take the help of the Java virtual machine. It will help us to execute the bytecode and generate the output. So because of this approach, it will become a platform independent and have a greater security also. So if you want to write a Java program, first you must have to create a class. By default, the classes are always public. The classes are always public. So here I'm creating a class with the name called Hello World. What is my aim is I want to display a message that just Hello World when I execute the program. So generally, when you see a class contains the member data and methods, as we are aware of the concepts of object-oriented programming, a class contains the member data and methods. The member data are nothing but the properties of the class, where the member method is nothing but how the properties are working. Okay. Now, when you see here, we can able to see one class, but I can able to find only one method. The class name is Hello World. It contains only the single method that is called the main method. See here, if a class have a main method, we can say it is a main program. Whereas in C programming, when you use the main function, we can say it's a main program. And rest of the programs will call the functions. Likewise, if the method have the name main, we can say that it is an important program. The program will start executing from there only. So here, first I have declared a class, Hello World, by the access specifier as public. Now inside the class, I am declaring only one method called the main method called public static void, which have the arguments here. So here, what this method will contain, it method contains only the single statement. The statement is Hello World. So whenever you execute this program, then automatically it will display a message that Hello World on the screen. So if you want to execute the same program in the command prompt, how do you execute? First, you have to say Java C Hello World.java. Then the bytecode will be generated. Now Java space Hello World. So the output will come Hello World. Okay. Note that string is built in. So what is string? String is one type of data type This is one type of data type. Here we can call them as an object. Generally in Java, there are two types of data types. One is primitive, second one is non-primitive. What is the primitive data type? The data types which are the basic data type, we can call them as the primitive data types. The data types which are not the basic data type called the non-primitive data type. For example, integer, float, character, double, long. These are all called the primitive data types. And what's the non-primitive data types? Any data type that is created by the users. Example, arrays, lists, sets. Same way we have strings. These are all called the non-primitive data types. So what is the difference between primitive and non-primitive? The non-primitive data types are created with the help of classes. Primitive data types are directly declared. So in the help of the non-primitive data types, you can able to store more than one value. But whereas in case of primitive data types, you can able to store a single value. That's why we have the arrays, we have the lists, we have the sets, the collections. These are all called the collections. These are will help us to store the data multiple lines. And the string is one of the non-primitive data type. And println is a function. It's a member function for the system.out class. System.out class. Here system.out. So dot out means the out class, system.out class. Method. What is the method name here? Println. So likewise, we can able to create n number of methods inside the class. So when you see this program, what we can understand, it contains only a single method, that is the main method. The class name is hello. Whenever we execute this program, we'll get a message that hello world. In this, we have used one option called the string, which is the non-primitive data type. And we used one method called println, which is a method. So what is the difference between method and function? Both are similar. In some programming language, we can call it the functions, and some programming we can call it the methods. In Java, we can call it the methods. In Python, we can call it the methods. Okay. Next one. What are the comments? So what is the purpose of comments? For example, when I write a program and explain the complete logic. So I would like to give a message to the different people to understand what is my code and how it functions. Means that I have write a program about 20 lines of code, and I would like to give a message that what is the functionality of the program, how the data flow is going, and what is the logic I want to explain. So how do we explain? You have to explain that in the comments. So in C++ or C, we can use slash, asterisk, and asterisk slash. We want to specify anything as a comment, we have to specify in between the slash, asterisk, and asterisk slash. Likewise, we can also use the same way in the Java. If the comment has more than one line, we will use slash, asterisk, and asterisk slash. We have only one line, we can use a double slash. So here we have the two options. The first line, we are taking 2 lines. So if you want to do with a comment for more than one line, you have to use slash, asterisk slash. If you want to give only comment for the single line, you have to use a double slash. What's the advantage of comments here? Simply the comments purpose is to explain the functionality of the program. So next one, primitive data types. What are the primitive data types here? They are similar to the C or C++. Like int, double, boolean, char, short, long. These are everything we can call them as a primitive data types. Okay, next one. What are the expressions? So the expression is nothing but the combination of characters. For example, equal to, plus equal to, asterisk equal to, plus plus, minus minus, ampersand ampersand, pipe pipe. So these are all called the expressions. So what is the expression? Nothing but simply assignment statements, mostly like those in C. For example, if you want to assign a value to a variable, how do you assign? A equal to 5. It says that a value 5 is assigned to a variable A. If you say A equal to plus 5, so what will happen? Nothing but A equal to A plus 5. A equal to plus 5 means nothing but A equal to A plus 5. So here A equal to plus 5 nothing but an expression. Simply say an expression is a combination of characters, variables and constants. Characters, variables and constants together we can call it as an expression. So expressions are similar to C, C++, Java everywhere. Now what are the control statements? The basic purpose of the control statement is to control the flow of execution of a program. So I started the program, then where I have to go, if the problem exists, where I have to go, if the problem is okay, where I have to go. So means completely will indicate the flow of execution of a program. The main purpose of using the control statement is how the program has to be executed. That will indicate the control statements. There are so many statements like if statement, if else statement, if else if statement, while is there, do while is there, for these are all belongs to the control statements. What is the basic idea of control statement? Simply to control the flow of execution of a program. Okay, for example, I want to display n numbers. So display the first number, go back, display the second number, go back. So means what control is flow is we keep on executing. So this we can call as a control statement. The basic idea of control statement is to control the flow of execution of a program. So means that I have 10 statements in a program. This statement has to be executed. Next, where I have to go, again, where I have to come. Everything will be discussed in another control statement. So see here, but the conditions must be the Boolean. So Boolean will be true or false. So while x greater than 5 means either possibility is yes or true. Boolean is nothing but the concept that either it has to be true or false. If x greater than x less than y means if it is x less than y is true, otherwise it will be false. So there is only one possibility for the control statements. Either it can be the true or it can be the false. So the control statement 2, the switch statement. So which is an alternative for the if-else statement. What is the purpose of if-else statement? If the condition is okay, execute. Not okay, check the second condition. Not okay, second condition. It keep on going the condition for the multiple times. Instead of writing the number of if-else, if-else, what I will do is I will use the switch statement, where we can able to group all the cases at one place. So because of this one, the program length will be decreases, and which will take the less time spans to execute the program. That's why you can say the switch is substitute for the if-else. Java also introduced the try statement, about which more later. So instead of switch, Java has one statement called try. We can able to understand when you go to the concept of try catch blocks. It means then we can able to understand exception handling. In the case of exception handle, you can able to understand the complete information about the try blocks. Java is in C. So is Java is similar to C? In C, almost everything is function. But in Java, is almost everything is classes. So everything is in classes, Java. where C, everything is in functions. And when you write a C program, main is a function, everything is a function. But in Java, every functions will be written in the classes. That you should be remembered. There is often only one class per file. You must have at least one class per file. Without having the class, there is no point of methods. If you want to create a file in Java, it must contain at least one class. And there must be only one public class for a file. So if you have multiple classes, let us suppose my file has more than one class, but one class with the public, remaining can be the normal, private. One must be the public. Okay? So the file name must be the same name as the public class. So the file name must be the same name as the public class. So means, for example, I will use the class name is sample. Then the name has to be the same name as a sample.java. Sample. So whatever the class name you are specifying, the file name is also the same. If the class name is public class sample, then automatically the file name is also the sample.java. So the Java program files will have an extension called Java. When you compile it, it will become as a dot class. When you execute it, you will get the results. So see here, a Java program layout. So if you want to write a Java program, first you should understand that what is our programming and which methods are we using. Are we using any pre-existing classes? If the pre-existing class are utilizing, where exactly those classes are available, we have to import those packages. So here every class will be default stored in the different packages. So what we have to do is, whenever you're writing the program, you have to import the respective packages into your program to work with the specific classes. For example, if you would like to give input, then you have to use the class called scanner class. Where it is available, it will be available under the utility class. So utility package. That's why you have to import the utility package. So whenever you import the utility package, whatever the class under the utility package, all the classes can be loaded into your program. See here, when you write the C program, generally what will write #include stdio.h. What it means, it is a header file of the standard input output. So what is the purpose of that one? The standard input output header files contains the number of predefined methods or functions where those functions can be implemented in our program. The same way, if you want to use the classes which are already defined under the specific packages, first we have to import those packages into our program. So what is the purpose of importing those packages? Whenever you are importing those packages into our program, automatically the respective class also can be coming to the program. Whenever the respective class also come into the program, the methods corresponding to the class can also be included into the program. Why we need to include the methods into the class programs here means we can able to generate the output. So it's simple concept that packages contains the classes and classes contain the methods contains the operations. If you want to perform some operations, we have to utilize the methods. If you want to utilize the methods, you have to include the classes. If you want to include the classes, you have to include the package. This simple logic of the Java. Okay. So here, what is the class? So generally we have the concept of arrays, where we can able to store more than one character or more than one element. In C, when you see that we have the concept of called structures and unions, which will help us to store a record. The record is nothing but, for example, I have name, first name, last name, salary, everything is complete information we can call as a record. If we want to store the complete record information at a time, we will use the concept of either the structures or unions in C. The same way, we can use the concept of classes in Java. So what is the difference between the structures in C and classes in Java is structures contains only the member data, where classes contain the member data as well as the methods also. The difference between the structures and the classes is structure contains only the member data, where classes contains the member data and methods. What is the purpose of method? For what purpose I have defined the member data that will be informed in the methods. So here methods are basically used to perform operations on member data. Okay. Here the abstract data types become most popular. What is the abstract data type? The abstract is nothing but providing the basic information, not the complete information. For example, if I ask me to about what you are doing, so I simply say that I'm a lecturer. So that's the basic information. If I inform that I'm a computers lecturer in so-and-so college, I'm working from the so-and-so time, this is called complete information. So what we are doing here, instead of providing the complete information, we are providing the basic details. What is the advantage of this one? Everybody doesn't know about my personal information. They know about me only. That is the concept of abstraction. So what is class? A classes is a collection of fields or the variables. So see here, with the collection of fields or variables, we can call another name is called the member data. Okay. And all operations, see here, all operations within brackets are methods. So here, whatever the operations we are performing, those called we are methods. So where we perform these operations, we'll perform these operations on the variables, which we can call as a member data. So a class contains the member data as well as the methods. We will perform operations with the help of methods on the member data. Okay. What the purpose of creating the classes? When you create in the classes, you will provide the structure. You will provide the structure. Once you provide the structure, we can create a variable for the structure. So here the variable for the class we can call as an object. What is an object? Object is an instance of class. So nothing but object describes what exactly the class will do. For example, a variable int a. So what it means? A is a variable of type integer. So what it will do? It stores an integer value. The same way, if you say here student yes, what it means? Yes is an object of the student class. Then what will happen? When you define an object for the class, automatically all the methods inside the class, all the data inside the class can be accessed with the help of the object. Can be accessed with the help of the object. This is the concept here. Okay. So naming convention. So when you define a class name, it should be clear that the class name must start with the capital letter. The remaining can be the capital or small, that's your issue. But you should remember that whatever the format you are following for the naming convention should be followed in all the areas. For example, I will give the name as a S capital letter AM, P capital letter E. You see second example here, sample, second sample. So if you define like that, you have to define the same way in the everywhere where you are in the class. So that is why you have to be clear that the naming convention should be perfectly followed, because Java is the case sensitive like a C and C++. Okay. Some methods in Java can start with here. Any method in Java start with the small letters. In between, we'll have the capital letter. But every class must start with the capital letter. So whenever you see the program, it's a built-in class or whatever you use the defined class, whatever it may be, every class must start with the capital letter and every method will start with the small letter. In between the method, there is a possibility of using the capital letters also. Take an example of next int. Next int is a method where next is the small letters, I is the capital letter, int is a small letter. There is a method, there is a possibility of having middle characters or somewhere in the capital letters and remaining all the small letters. That's why we can say every method will start with the small letter. Every class will start with the capital letters. That's why you should have to remember that the naming convention perfectly while creating the classes or while defining the methods. What is the class hierarchy? So first we have to create the class. So see here, class are arranged in a hierarchy. The root or topmost class is the object. Every class, but object has at least one superclass. The class may be the superclass. See, the concept is simple that one class, the next class, the next class, and the next class and so on. The class hierarchy. See an example of class here. Simple class. I'm taking an example of person class. So here the string name, int is, these are the member data. These are the member data. Here when you observe this one, int age is a primitive data type, where string name is a non-primitive data type. So what is the difference between string name and the char name? If you say char name of 20, you can store maximum 20 characters. In the string here, not specifying any size, you can store any number of characters, any number of sentences, any number of words. There is no problem. But when in case of the character, you have to specify the size. The char name of 20, so maximum 20 characters. Likewise. Next one, we are using one method called birthday. In the birthday, I am using age plus plus. See here, age plus plus we can call as an expression. So what is age plus plus? Simply age equal to age plus 1. Age equal to age plus 1 and age plus plus both are the similar. The shortest way of representation. So what will happen? In the birthday method, I am increasing his age by 1. So now age will become 11. So what is the output here? Name is now, and so age is. So here, age is. What is the age here? 11 years. So what we are doing in the method here? First I have given the name variable. I didn't give any name for this one. I have given the age as 10 and incrementing the value of age in the method and displaying. So ultimately what we get is now age is 11 because we are incrementing by 1. So age plus plus means 1 increment. I plus plus 1 increment. I plus 2 increment. I plus 3 increment. Likewise, you can able to increase the numbers also. So another examples of here, see. Here I am creating a new class driver from an existing class person. See here, the previous class person I had defined here. From this class, I am creating one more class. See here. With the help of the personal class, I am defined the new class called driver. This concept we can call as inheritance. So inheritance is nothing but the concept of acquiring the properties of one class by another class. What is the properties here? Simply the properties are nothing but the member data. So in this case, we can observe that we have name and age here. Those name and age can be also utilized in the driver class. Simple the concept is. What are the properties that you defined on the first class can be utilized in the second class. This funda is called the inheritance simply. So see here, how to create the object. Now see, first you have to specify the class name and the object name. The person's swarup. The swarup is the object for the class person. So this is nothing but the first line I am declaring an object. Second line I am initializing the object. See the difference between both of them. Declaring is different from the initializing. So I am initializing the object. And now here this one, the next two statement nothing but I am assigning values to the member data. See here, first I have created the object. And I have initiated the object. Now I am adding the data to the member data. Now ultimately what will happen? In the first class, in the name place, we'll have the Swarup CJ and the age place will have the 47. Clearly, okay? The same way I have created here one more. See here, what is the difference between the first example and second example? In the first example, first I declare the object, then initialize, instantiate the object. The second case, declaration and instantiation both are happening at the same line. So instead of using two lines of code, I am using the single line of code, the simple logic. So where I have declaring the object as well as the instantiating the object. So this is a concept of how to create the object and how to give the values for the data. So your Kiran.name is what the Kiran object of the person. Swarup object of the person. So object name dot member data, object name dot member data, object name dot member data. So what will happen? I can able to create more than one object. One object is Swarup, one object is Kiran for the same class. That is nothing but I can able to store the information of two persons. Likewise, you can able to store n number of, you can create n number of object, you can store the n number of persons. Sir, does it require to create n number of objects? Doesn't require. You can use only the single object and can store the multiple data when you keep in the iteration. And you keep it in the iteration. But you have to think one thing is clear. Once you take the data into the object, it should be printed. Because any member data can store the values one time. The new value can be replaced with the existing value. That's why you have to create the object and place in the iteration, looping. And then once you get the data, then you have to print it, next data, print it, next data, print it. Likewise, you can use the same object for the multiple purpose, multiple times, no problem. But if you want to store and you would like to use later, then you have to create the number of objects. In this case, I have created Swarup and Kiran. I can use any time, no problem. Doesn't require now. But if you want to create the only one object and you have to work on those one object only, then you have to accept the values and print it, again accept the value, print it. That can be possible. So next, what is the concept of array? So array is nothing but one type of classes type where we can able to store more than one value of same data type. So in this case, if you want to specify the size, you can specify. Otherwise, you can specify the sizing at runtime also. So here I am using one option called int my array with size of 5. So what it indicates means it will create an array with the name my array and it will allow you to store maximum of 5 elements. In the second case, see here, I have created one array and giving the values. So what is the difference between the first and second? I am not giving the value. I am telling that how many values I want to store. The second case, what I'm telling, I'm not specifying the size. I'm directly giving the values. What it understand? It understand that depend upon the values you have given, it will understand the size is 5. So in the first case, I am directly specifying the size as 5. The second case, instead of specifying the size, I am giving the values. Indirectly, what I am telling here, I am storing 5 values into the array, my array. Simple. The same way here, string language is an array. How many strings are there? There are 2 strings. What is the size of the string language here? 2. The length of the language is 2 because we are using 2 strings here. Okay. So this way, first we can declare the array, we can initialize the array. Otherwise, we can declaration initially can be at the same place. If you want to specify the size of the array, you can specify the size of the array at any point of time. Okay. This is all about the concepts of Java, the basic concept. As in this section, we discussed about the concept of what is array. So what is the primitive data types? What is the non-primitive data types? Why we have the Java? What is the JVM? And what is the class? What is the object? What is the member data? What is the method? Why you have to define the classes? What is the difference between structures and the classes? And what is the purpose of array? Why we have to define the objects? Can be defined, can we use the same object for the multiple purposes? And these are all discussed in this section. Okay. If anyone are interested, please do contact with me. I have provided my mobile numbers and also the mail IDs. You can text me, or you can able to call me, or you can able to send a mail to. Okay. Thank you.